I want you to imagine something for a moment. You wake up one morning. There's no pain, no illness, but something feels heavier. Getting out of bed takes a few seconds longer. The stairs look steeper. And the chair? Somehow deeper than it used to be. You used to feel strong. But now, you find yourself wondering, am I losing muscle? Or is this just aging? I'm here to tell you something important. Your muscle isn't gone. It's just asleep. And in this video, I'll show you how to wake it up, not with heavy weights or a gym pass, but with small, smart rituals. A green-tipped banana in the morning. A splash of tart cherry juice after dinner. One intentional choice, repeated long enough to change the story. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to begin. Have you ever felt that way? Like your body is alive, but no longer fully awake? If so, this video is for you. I want you to picture this. It's a quiet morning. You've just woken up. Soft light filters through the curtains. The air smells like time. Not coffee, not toast, but that particular stillness that says, another day has begun. And yet, your body feels heavier. Not in pounds, but in gravity. You're not in pain, but things don't feel quite as light as they used to. Have you ever felt that? I certainly have. And many of my patients, folks in their 50s, 60s, and beyond, tell me they feel the same. One man I worked with, Mark, 67 years old, told me during our first session, "I don't get it, Doc. I'm not sick. I eat fine. But lately getting out of a chair feels like lifting weights." I smiled gently and said, "Mark, your body's still listening. But now it's asking you, what are you feeding me? You're not just what you eat. You're what your muscles can still do." That's a line I often share with my students, my patients, and honestly myself. Muscle isn't just for flexing. It's not about the gym or looking fit in a t-shirt. Muscle is how you get up from bed without grabbing the nightstand. It's how you carry a bag of groceries, kneel in the garden, reach for the top shelf. It's how you live independently. But here's what most people don't know. Muscle doesn't just run on protein. It runs on timing, on inflammation balance, on mitochondrial health, and sometimes on something as surprising as a banana. Yeah, a banana. One small green banana, and a lesson in insulin. Let's go back to Mark. After reviewing his labs and movement patterns, I didn't hand him a prescription. I gave him a challenge. Every morning, Mark, right after you wake up, eat one small, slightly green banana, not too ripe, and pair it with a tablespoon of almond butter. He chuckled. "Doc, you think that's gonna fix my legs?" I said, "Not in one day, but do it for 4 weeks, and you'll feel something in your body change direction." Why? Because slightly unripe bananas are rich in resistant starch, a type of carbohydrate that bypasses your small intestine and goes straight to your colon, where it feeds beneficial gut bacteria. Those microbes fermented into butyrate, a short-chain fatty acid that's been shown to reduce inflammation, improve insulin sensitivity, signal your cells to rebuild rather than break down. You might be thinking, a banana can do all that? I used to be skeptical too. But then I read a 2022 study showing that older adults who consumed a banana-based post-workout shake had reduced IL-6, a key inflammation marker, and recovered faster than those who drank a standard carb drink. No pills, no powders, just a banana and a little patience. From bananas to tart cherry, a gift for restful sleep. Now, imagine another scene. It's 3:17 a.m. You're awake, again, not in pain, but you've tossed, turned, gone to the bathroom twice, and you're already bracing for how tired you'll be tomorrow. Sound familiar? As we age, sleep becomes the make-or-break factor for muscle recovery and hormone balance. And one of the most gentle, overlooked supports for better sleep is tart cherry juice. Not kidding. Multiple studies have shown that tart cherries increase natural melatonin levels in the body and support deeper, more restorative sleep. And here's the beautiful part. Deeper sleep, more growth hormone secretion, better muscle repair. A small glass of tart cherry juice after dinner can serve as your body's nightly signal. It's time to recover now. It's also a great replacement for dessert or late-night snacks, a choice that feels indulgent but works for you, not against you. You don't need to be perfect, just consistent. I once worked with a woman named Julia. She was 71, spirited, sharp. She said to me, "Doc, I can't keep up with all the rules. I love French food. I drink wine. I eat bread." I smiled. "Julia, I don't want you to stop loving food. I just want you to add one thing, a quarter of an avocado, into your lunch." Why? Because avocado is one of the most quietly powerful muscle allies out there, rich in monounsaturated fats that reduce inflammation, packed with potassium, magnesium, B vitamins, lutein, keeps blood sugar stable and hunger at bay. And here's what I've observed over years of practice. People who eat avocado regularly tend to move more, not because the avocado gives them energy, but because it leaves them satisfied, balanced, and ready to move, without the crash, without the cravings. One small question for you. This week, I don't need you to memorize polyphenols or inflammation pathways. I just want you to carry this question with you. What fruit could I add today? Not as a treat, but as a tool for recovery. Maybe it's a slightly green banana. Maybe it's a blueberry smoothie with almond milk and flax. Maybe it's a slice of whole grain toast with mashed avocado and a sprinkle of hemp seeds. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to start. One small, smart choice, repeated over time, beats all the magic pills in the world. I once sat down for tea with an old friend, an 82-year-old Iranian physician who had spent his career weaving together modern medicine and ancient traditions. He held a bowl of fresh pomegranate seeds in his hand, smiled, and said, "Back home, we don't just eat pomegranate. We invite it into weddings, into coming-of-age ceremonies, even into funerals, because it's a fruit of rebirth." And I remember sipping my tea, thinking to myself, science is only now catching up to what tradition has known for centuries. Pomegranate, a second heart in fruit form. Have you ever looked closely at a pomegranate? Crack it open and it's like opening a tiny universe, dozens of little red jewels encased in a maze of white. Every seed glistens. Every drop of juice whispers life. To me, it resembles the heart itself, segmental, rhythmic, full of potential. And that's not just poetry. It's biology. Because pomegranate isn't just sweet and tart. It's a vascular ally, a metabolic reset, and, most exciting of all, a stimulator of mitochondrial regeneration. Let me explain. The forgotten molecule, nitric oxide. Now, you might have heard of nitric oxide before, but few people know how critical it is, especially as we age. Nitric oxide, NO, is a signaling molecule that tells your blood vessels to relax and expand. That allows more oxygen and nutrients to reach your muscles, your brain, even your skin. The problem? As we get older, our natural NO production declines, which leads to fatigue, slower recovery, reduced strength, poor circulation, even diminished sexual function. But pomegranates contain L-glutanins, a class of polyphenols that, when metabolized by a healthy gut, transform into urolithin A, a compound that's been shown to enhance mitochondrial biogenesis. Yes, you heard that right. It helps your cells build new mitochondria, a study that made me stop and stare. In 2019, a randomized controlled trial published in Nature Metabolism looked at older adults supplementing with urolithin A. They weren't exercising. They didn't take protein powders. They just consumed this pomegranate-derived compound for 4 months. And what happened? Their mitochondrial function improved, and their muscle endurance increased significantly. To be clear, the study used a supplement. But urolithin A is only produced when your gut bacteria are healthy enough to process pomegranate polyphenols. That's what I love most about this fruit. It's a living example of food synergy, how gut health, metabolism, and food choices are all intimately connected. The patient who found her rhythm with pomegranate. Let me tell you about Sarah. She's a retired nurse, 73 years old, used to hike, dance, and swim. But lately, she told me, I can't make it through a walk around the block without needing to rest. I asked her to try something simple. Sarah, every morning, have a small bowl of plain Greek yogurt. Top it with a handful of fresh pomegranate seeds. Do this 4 times a week for 6 weeks. She raised an eyebrow but agreed. 6 weeks later, she came back beaming. I feel lighter, she said. I walk longer. I even sleep better. That's the beauty of this fruit. It doesn't force change. It supports it. Eating pomegranate requires you to slow down, and that's the point. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you ate something with your full attention? Pomegranate invites that. You can't eat it quickly. You can't scarf it while scrolling your phone. You have to cut it open, use your hands, pick out each glistening seed. It's messy, but it's mindful. And that matters, because when your nervous system slows down, your digestion improves, your inflammation decreases, and your food becomes more than fuel, it becomes a form of self-respect. Pomegranate for recovery, not just for athletes. You don't need to be a marathon runner to benefit from this. In 2014, a study published in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning. Research found that elite weightlifters who drank pomegranate juice before training had lower muscle soreness, less oxidative stress, faster recovery. Now, those were athletes. But the biology is the same for all of us. Whether you're pulling weeds in the garden or helping your grandchild up the stairs, your muscles still go through micro-trauma. And if that damage isn't repaired, it accumulates. Pomegranate helps clear those biochemical byproducts. It makes recovery easier, more efficient, especially as your body's natural cleanup crew starts slowing down with age. So how do you bring it into your life? I'm not asking you to buy expensive pomegranate shots or fancy supplements. I'm asking for small, meaningful habits. Try one of these this week. Top your post-walk lunch bowl with pomegranate seeds and a drizzle of olive oil. Blend fresh pomegranate juice into a green smoothie after yoga or walking. Add seeds to a lentil salad, grain bowl, or roasted veggie dish. Just remember, you're not adding sugar. You're adding circulation, recovery, and nutritional depth. And while an 8-oz glass of 100% juice may have around 30 g of natural sugar, pairing it with fiber and protein softens the glycemic impact, especially when timed after movement. Pomegranate, sustainability, and the bigger picture. Here's a detail I love. Pomegranates are relatively drought-resistant. They store well, and when grown organically, they represent a thoughtful choice for those who care about food ethics. Health isn't just personal, it's planetary. And when we choose foods that support both, that's where healing multiplies. This week's question for you. Is there one meal this week where you could add pomegranate, not just for taste, but as a gesture of recovery? Maybe you toss some seeds onto your lunch. Maybe you share a bowl with a loved one. Maybe you savor it in silence, remembering that healing doesn't always come in a pill bottle. Sometimes it arrives slowly, sweetly, and in a bright red seed. Let me tell you about a couple who came to see me one spring afternoon. They were in their late 60s, married for over 40 years, still full of humor, but carrying a quiet concern. The wife looked at me and said, "We used to take long walks together, but now he gets winded halfway up the hill." The husband smiled sheepishly and shrugged. "Guess that's just aging, Doc." I looked him straight in the eye and said, "It might be common, but that doesn't mean it's normal." And so I told them about blueberries, not because they're trendy, not because they're superfoods, but because they speak to your cells in a language most people forget: resilience. a fruit that whispers to your mitochondria. You know blueberries. You've probably tossed them into a smoothie or scattered them on your oatmeal. Maybe even eaten a few straight out of the carton before they ever made it to the fridge. But here's what most people don't realize. Blueberries talk to your mitochondria. Those are the energy generators inside your cells, the power plants. And as we age, mitochondria become sluggish, less efficient, fewer in number. Blueberry polyphenols, especially anthocyanins, help wake them up. They've been shown to increase oxygen use efficiency, improve mitochondrial signaling, reduce oxidative stress, support microcirculation in muscle tissue. Translation? You get up from a chair with more power. You walk longer before you get tired. You climb stairs with steadier breath. And that, my friends, is real-life strength. The study that proved it. In 2020, a randomized, double-blind study from East Carolina University looked at adults over 65. They had one group drink a blueberry smoothie every day for 6 weeks. The result? Significant improvements in leg strength compared to the control group. The researchers attributed this to polyphenol-driven mitochondrial enhancement, meaning the cells were simply better at producing energy with less waste. It wasn't magic. It was biology done right. Blueberries and insulin, the door to muscle nourishment. Here's another reason blueberries matter. Insulin sensitivity. Think of insulin like a key. It unlocks the door to your muscle cells, allowing glucose and amino acids to enter. But in many older adults, that key starts to rust. The door sticks. The muscle doesn't get fed. That's when muscle breakdown begins. But in 2010, researchers published a study in the Journal of Nutrition showing that obese, insulin-resistant individuals who ate blueberries twice a day for 6 weeks saw a major improvement in insulin sensitivity without any weight loss. That matters, because when your cells respond to insulin better, you build muscle more efficiently, recover faster after movement, burn energy instead of storing fat, all without a single change in calories. Blueberries, the gut, and the muscle connection. Let's talk about something that's easy to overlook: your gut. New research shows a clear link between gut health and muscle metabolism. It's called the gut-muscle axis. Blueberries feed beneficial bacteria in your colon. That, in turn, reduces systemic inflammation and helps absorb nutrients more effectively, especially the ones your muscles need to rebuild. Think of your gut not as a digestive pipe, but as a biological command center, connected to your mood, your energy, your immune system, and yes, your strength. A simple morning ritual. I always tell my patients, don't think of blueberries as garnish. Make them the star. Here's what I recommend. Start your morning with half a cup of blueberries. Add them to oatmeal, overnight chia pudding, or a smoothie. Pair them with protein and fiber to reduce glycemic response. Frozen blueberries? Just as good. Year-round. Affordable. Easy. You don't need a chef. You just need a rhythm. Less sugar, more power. People often ask me, but Doc, aren't fruits just sugar? Let me clarify something. A half cup of blueberries contains just 7 to 9 grams of natural sugar, but it also delivers 4 grams of fiber antioxidants that reduce inflammation. Nearly zero spike in blood glucose when paired with healthy fats or protein. Compare that to a muffin or even a low-fat granola bar, where the sugar hits you fast and fades just as quickly. Blueberries are slow-release strength. The environmental bonus. Here's a little extra reason to love them. Blueberries are low-impact crops when grown organically. They require less pesticide. Frozen berries reduce waste and packaging. They replace high-carbon footprint snacks like processed bars or sugary drinks. So when you choose blueberries, you're feeding your muscles and protecting the planet. A story that stuck with me. I once worked with a retired school teacher, Miriam, 66 years old. She was healthy overall but tired easily. I asked her to try something simple. Start your day with a smoothie: blueberries, almond milk, flax, a little spinach, and a scoop of plant protein. After 10 days, she emailed me, "I'm not sure if it's the smoothie or the mindset, but I feel more plugged in again." That's it. Because food is information. It tells your cells how to behave. And sometimes that message comes wrapped in a tiny indigo sphere that grew on a bush and tastes like summer. This week's question for you: where can blueberries take center stage in your week? Not as a sweet treat, not as a side note, but as a strength strategy. Could they be the start of your morning? A post-walk ritual? The reason you dust off that blender again? Choose one. Try it. And see what changes, not just in your body, but in your mindset. There's something I want to say right off the top. Fat is not the enemy. Not at 30, not at 50, and especially not after 60. I had a patient, Tom. He was 64, lean arms, but a soft, growing belly. He told me, "Doc, I've cut carbs. I'm walking every morning. But this belly, it's not going away, and my strength's gone with it." I asked him a simple question. "Are you eating the right kind of fat?" He blinked. "Wait, I'm trying to avoid fat." And that's when I introduced him to one of the most misunderstood fruits on the planet, the avocado. A fruit that doesn't act like a fruit. Most fruits are sweet, juicy, light. But avocado? It's creamy, rich, fills you up. And most of all, it's quietly powerful. Technically, yes, it's a fruit. Botanically speaking, it grows from a flower, has a seed, and develops from a single ovary. That's fruit. But nutritionally, it's something else entirely. Rich in monounsaturated fats, primarily oleic acid, the same fat in olive oil. Packed with magnesium, potassium, B vitamins, lutein. Contains phytosterols, which help reduce C-reactive protein, a key inflammation marker. Avocados are not just heart-healthy, they're muscle-protective, brain-supportive, and hormone-friendly. Let's break that down. Why fat is a hormone ally. After 50. Most people think strength equals protein, but they forget that strength also depends on hormones. Hormones like testosterone, growth hormone estrogen, and yes, even insulin. And here's the thing. All of those are built from fat. But not just any fat. Healthy fats like those in avocado help. Regulate blood sugar, reduce chronic low-grade inflammation, support satiety, and prevent overeating. Balance cortisol levels, your stress hormone. This isn't about keto or high-fat trends. This is about providing your body with the raw materials it needs to repair, recover, and rebalance. Satiety versus false hunger. Let me introduce you to a phenomenon called false hunger. It's when you feel hungry, but not because you need food. You're hungry because your blood sugar just dipped, or because your body is stressed, or your last meal was missing fat or fiber. This is where avocado shines. A small serving, even just 1/4 of a fruit, can stabilize blood sugar, slow down digestion, keep you full for hours, stop the cycle of snacking on sugar to feel okay. One of my older clients, Deborah, 70, told me this. "Since I started adding avocado to lunch, I don't even think about sweets anymore. I just feel content." That's what the right fat does. It grounds you. It anchors your appetite. It reminds your body you're safe. Protecting cell membranes, one bite at a time. This next part isn't sexy, but it's important. As we age, our cell membranes stiffen. They become less responsive, less absorbent, and more prone to inflammation. Avocados provide the type of fat needed to rebuild those membranes, especially in muscle cells. They help restore fluidity to the membrane so that insulin signals land properly. Nutrients get inside. Waste gets out. Mitochondria stay protected. It's like fixing the insulation on your electrical wiring, so energy flows again. The psychological power of avocado. Here's something few nutritionists talk about, but I see it in real life all the time. When people sit down and eat avocado, on toast, in a bowl, with a spoon, they often feel better, stronger, worthy. It's not the calories, it's the message. Avocado says, you deserve nourishment that's soft but strong. You deserve to feel full without shame. One client of mine put it perfectly. When I eat avocado, I feel like I'm taking care of myself like someone I love. Exactly. How to use avocado without overthinking. I get it. Avocados aren't always cheap, but the good news is, a little goes a long way. Try this. Breakfast. 1/4 avocado mashed onto whole grain toast with a sprinkle of chia seeds. Lunch. Diced avocado in a grain bowl with lentils and greens. Dinner. Add it to soup, a warm salad, or top on roasted veggies. Snack. Blend it into a smoothie for creaminess and depth. Don't get caught up in perfection. Just aim to bring avocado into one meal a day, consistently. You'll notice fewer cravings, better energy, smoother digestion, more balanced appetite. The hormonal benefit. Most people miss this one's for the gentlemen and for the women navigating menopause. Avocado can help support testosterone production, not by boosting it artificially, but by reducing inflammation, which suppresses hormones, providing cholesterol precursors, the building blocks for steroid hormones, supporting insulin sensitivity, which indirectly preserves muscle mass. The research backs it up. A 2017 review in Nutrients found that regular avocado consumers had lower risk of metabolic syndrome, better glucose control, higher levels of physical activity. It's not magic. It's metabolism meeting intention. What about the environmental angle? I won't lie, avocados have their baggage. Some regions grow them in ways that hurt ecosystems, but you have choices. Whenever possible, look for organic or California-grown fair trade or Rainforest Alliance certified, or simply rotate between avocado and other healthy fats, olive oil, nuts, seeds. It's not about perfection, it's about conscious repetition. This week's question for you. Is there one low-quality fat in your week that you could swap for avocado, just once? Could you replace butter on toast, avocado mayonnaise in a sandwich, avocado mashed chips with dip, veggie sticks and guac? Try it once. Observe. Reflect. Because that single swap might unlock better digestion, fewer crashes, and a better night's sleep. There's a woman I know, Clara. She's 61. Used to love dancing, gardening, morning walks with her dog. But lately, she said, after I garden for an hour, my legs hurt for 2 days. Not just sore, but drained. Like I ran a marathon I didn't sign up for. Have you ever felt like that? You go for a walk, do some yoga, carry groceries, and the next day, you feel like you got hit by a truck. That, my friend, is what we call DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness. And for folks over 50, recovery becomes more important than effort. Because if you don't recover well, you don't move well the next time. Muscle damage isn't just for athletes. Here's something I want you to know. You don't have to lift weights to experience muscle trauma. A simple walk, a weekend of yard work, even climbing a few flights of stairs can cause micro tears in muscle tissue. When we're younger, those tears heal fast. But after 50, inflammation lingers. Mitochondria slow down. Sleep isn't as restorative, and so we stay sore longer, move less, and spiral into weakness. But here's the good news. You can repair. You can restore. You can build back. And you can do it with the help of fruit. First in the Trinity. Tart cherry. The cleanup crew. I think of tart cherry like a specialized emergency response team. They show up quietly, do the work, reduce the damage, and leave you better than before. In one randomized controlled study published in the Scandinavian Journal of Medicine and Science in Sports, runners who drank tart cherry juice for 7 days before a marathon showed significantly less soreness, Lower levels of CRP, C-reactive protein, a key inflammation marker. Better preservation of strength after the race. And these weren't just young athletes. Other studies have shown tart cherry benefits in older adults, especially those experiencing chronic inflammation and muscle breakdown. The power? Anthocyanins, a group of polyphenols in cherries that reduce oxidative stress, improve sleep thanks to natural melatonin, support mitochondrial repair. I tell my patients, tart cherry is a post-walk ritual, not a dessert. Just a small glass, 4 to 6 ounces, after movement. That's all it takes. Next in line, blueberries, the mitochondrial motivator. You've heard me talk about blueberries in part 3, but let's revisit them now through the lens of recovery. After any movement, your mitochondria work overtime. They need oxygen, nutrients, time, and cellular instructions to repair and regenerate. Blueberries deliver that. They say to your cells, let's clean up, let's rebuild, let's stay strong. One study in older adults showed that daily blueberry smoothies for 6 weeks improved leg strength and recovery capacity, not by adding muscle, but by improving mitochondrial function. They help your body use oxygen better, circulate nutrients faster, and bounce back smoother. Even a simple handful of frozen blueberries in a protein smoothie can reduce soreness, speed up healing, improve insulin sensitivity, so nutrients get to the right place. Third in the Trinity, pomegranate, the circulatory architect. Then there's pomegranate, the blood builder. It's not just a pretty fruit. Pomegranate polyphenols help widen blood vessels, increase nitric oxide production, deliver more oxygen to working muscle. After exercise, that's everything. It means less fatigue, less cramping, faster delivery of glucose and amino acids to the tissue that needs it most. In one study, weightlifters who drank pomegranate juice before training had reduced muscle damage, faster recovery, better muscle oxygenation, and in another, older adults using urolithin A, a compound made when the gut processes pomegranate, showed improved endurance and mitochondrial health even without exercise. That's the magic of synergy. The power is in the pattern, not the perfection. Here's what I tell my clients over 50. You don't need more exercise. You need smarter recovery. You can walk for 30 minutes and still be building muscle if you feed your body right afterward. I recommend something I call the recovery rhythm. After light exercise, walk, yoga, stretching. 1/2 banana plus almond butter plus tart cherry juice. Midday smoothie, blueberries plus flaxseed plus plant-based protein plus frozen spinach. Lunch bowl, quinoa, lentils, greens, topped with pomegranate seeds and olive oil. That's not fancy. That's just intentional eating. Recovery isn't a luxury, it's the foundation. So many people tell me, I don't recover the way I used to. And I always say, then don't recover like you used to. Your body has changed, your pace has shifted, but your capacity to heal, still intact. You just need to meet it where it's at, with anti-inflammatory signals, steady blood sugar, good sleep, and food that knows how to help you rebuild. And this trinity of fruits, tart cherry, blueberry, pomegranate, delivers all of it. One simple action. This week. So let me ask you, what's one activity you do this week, no matter how small, that deserves a recovery ritual? Could be a walk around the block, gardening, stretching, cleaning the house, a round of Tai Chi in your living room. Now pair it with a cherry juice mini smoothie, a bowl of Greek yogurt and pomegranate, a post-move protein shake with frozen blueberries. Because small acts of movement deserve small acts of healing. Let me ask you something that might sound strange at first. Is a banana still healthy if you eat it at 10 p.m. right before bed while watching TV? See, I ask this question a lot, and most people nod like, well, of course, bananas are healthy. But then I ask again, is it still healthy for you at that time, in that context? And suddenly, people pause. Same food, different response. Here's what I want you to understand. The same food, banana, pomegranate, blueberries, can have very different effects on your body depending on when you eat it. Why? Because your insulin sensitivity changes throughout the day. Hormonal rhythms ebb and flow. Digestive capacity shifts between morning and night, and your muscles are only receptive to nutrients for a short window after movement. So, yes, a banana can be muscle fuel after your morning walk. But the same banana, eaten late at night after hours of sitting, might just end up as storage, in the places you don't want. Anabolic window, the 90-minute sweet spot. There's a concept in sports nutrition called the anabolic window, a 30 to 90-minute period after exercise when your body is especially good at absorbing nutrients, repairing tissue, reducing inflammation, rebuilding mitochondria and glycogen. Even gentle movement, like walking, gardening, or yoga, can open this window. That's when fruit-based recovery shines. Tart cherry, banana, blueberries, pomegranate, eaten in this window, don't behave like sugar. They act like medicine. A real-life story. Timing transforms everything. I had a patient, David, 72. He walked 20 minutes every morning, then skipped breakfast entirely because he was watching carbs. But by noon, he was starving and craving sugar. I made a small suggestion. Right after your walk, eat one small green-tipped banana with a spoonful of almond butter. That's it. Nothing else. 2 weeks later, David said, "Doc, I don't crash mid-morning anymore. I'm not reaching for cookies. I even feel stronger." He didn't eat less. He ate at the right time. Morning is the best time for fruit. Here's why your first meal of the day is a golden opportunity. Insulin sensitivity is naturally higher in the morning. Your body has been fasting overnight. It's ready to absorb. Blood sugar fluctuations are less severe. You set your rhythm for the rest of the day. That's why I recommend blueberries in a smoothie, pomegranate seeds on oatmeal, half an avocado on whole grain toast, a banana plus protein plus fat, post-walk. This isn't breakfast as a habit. It's breakfast as strategy. When not to eat certain fruits. Let's be clear, fruit is good. But even good things, when eaten at the wrong time, create noise, not nourishment. Here are some fruit timing tips for people over 50. Avoid eating high-sugar fruits, like ripe bananas or mango, when you're sedentary for long hours. You've just had a high-carb meal. It's close to bedtime and your digestion is slowing down. Best times to enjoy fruit. After movement. Early in the day. Paired with fiber, protein, or healthy fat. This is where context becomes king. Use fruit to bridge the day's natural rhythm. I often recommend thinking of meals as transitions. Your food should help your body move from one phase to the next. Try this. Morning, 7 to 9 a.m. Blueberries plus protein plus healthy fat. Post-activity within 60 minutes. Banana plus nut butter or tart cherry smoothie. Lunch, 12 to 2 p.m. Lentils plus whole grains plus greens plus pomegranate. Evening, 5-7 p.m. Lower glycemic, higher fat, avocado, nuts, cooked veggies. Before bed, if needed. Tart cherry to support melatonin and sleep hormones. Let food match your biology, not just your schedule. What if you didn't move that day? I get it. Some days you don't walk, you don't stretch, you just rest. On those days, I recommend fruits that support metabolism and hormone balance rather than post-exercise recovery. That means avocado for satiety and blood sugar, pomegranate for circulation and cellular health. Maybe a small serving of berries with Greek yogurt or plant protein. No rush, no spike, just calm, collected nourishment. Rituals that anchor recovery. Let me ask you something. What if your smoothie was more than a drink? What if it was a signal to your body, I'm ready to recover now? That's how I teach it. A smoothie isn't just blended food, it's a reset button. A cherry juice shot isn't just juice, It's your body's transition from tension to repair. These are rituals, and your body learns them, trusts them, and responds. A weekly timing template. You can try. Here's a simple 7-day rhythm built around when to eat what. Monday, morning walk, smoothie with blueberries, banana, flax, protein. Tuesday, yoga, avocado plus egg plus pomegranate toast. Wednesday, light chores, cherry juice plus handful of nuts plus Greek yogurt. Thursday, gardening, lentil bowl with avocado plus pomegranate. Friday, stretching, chia pudding with berries plus almond butter. Saturday, active day, full smoothie with tart cherry plus banana plus greens. Sunday, rest day, cooked veggies plus avocado plus small fruit bowl. Not a plan, not a diet, just a gentle scaffolding for your week. This week's reflection. Can you shift one meal, not to change what you eat, but when you eat it? Pick one. Move your fruit to after your walk. Add protein to your banana. Try tart cherry. 1 hour before bed. Front-load fruit in the morning instead of late at night. You don't need a new rule book, just a better rhythm. Let's take a breath together. You've made it through 6 parts. Not a crash course, not a diet, but a conversation between your habits and your biology, between who you were told to be and who you can still become. And now, we're here. Not to list everything again, but to ask, what does it all mean for how you live from now on? 5 fruits, 5 stories, 1 identity. You've met 5 fruits on this journey. Tart cherry, the gentle night nurse, easing soreness and deepening sleep. Blueberry, the cellular coach, boosting mitochondria and endurance. Pomegranate, the bloodstream whisperer, fueling oxygen and recovery. Banana, green-tinged, the quiet stabilizer, balancing insulin and gut health. Avocado, the hormonal anchor, steadying appetite and inflammation, each with a different role, each with different science behind it. But together, they form a kind of muscle resilience toolkit, designed not just for athletes, but for every person who wants to age well, live long, and feel like themselves. But here's the truth. Information doesn't change you. Habits do. I once worked with a woman named Janice, 70 years old. She came to me with a binder full of research, printouts, bookmarks. She said, "I've read everything. I just can't stick to anything." So I asked her, "What's one fruit you understand deeply now, not just as a food, but as a message?" She paused, smiled, and said, "Avocado. It makes me feel nourished, whole, like I'm not just snacking, I'm healing." And I told her, then start there, every day. One small act, same time, same reason. She did. 6 months later, she had more energy, less snacking, better sleep, and a quiet confidence I could see in her posture. Not because she knew more, because she repeated one right thing. Identity drives. Consistency. You don't stay healthy because you remember facts. You stay healthy because your identity aligns with your actions. When you say, "I'm the kind of person who fuels movement with food," or "I'm someone who recovers after a walk like it matters," or "I make space for quiet food, food that loves me back," you become the kind of person who doesn't need willpower. You just need rhythm. Nutritional momentum, the small choice that starts it all. This is one of my favorite ideas, nutritional momentum. It's when you start your day with a smart breakfast. You walk more because your energy's stable. You sleep better that night. You're less likely to snack tomorrow. You repeat it without even thinking. One choice. One moment. And your biology clicks into gear. A gentle 7-day invitation. Let me offer you this as we close. Try this rhythm next week. Day 1. Add green banana plus nut butter after walking. Day 2. blueberry smoothie with flax and spinach. Day 3, toss pomegranate seeds on lentil salad. Day 4, avocado toast plus greens for lunch. Day 5, tart cherry before bed. Day 6, choose 2 of your favorite fruits together. Day 7, reflect. What made you feel best? No pressure, no spreadsheet, just a gentle exploration of what your body responds to when you treat it kindly. This is bigger than muscle. Let me tell you something I believe deeply. Muscle health is a public health issue. It's not just about how strong you are, it's about how long you live independently, how often you fall or get hospitalized, how much you rely on others or don't, how you move, how you love, how you stay connected. And when we eat with muscle in mind, we're not chasing aesthetics. We're building dignity. Eating is a political and spiritual act. When you choose tart cherry grown on a family farm, when you support fair trade avocado growers, when you swap soda for pomegranate juice, you're not just nourishing your mitochondria, you're voting for a food system that values sustainability, a planet that breathes a little easier, a life that feels connected rather than rushed. Final thought. Your meals are messages. Every time you eat, your body listens. It's not asking for perfection. It's not asking for guilt. It's asking for attention. And when you respond with a handful of blueberries or a spoonful of guacamole, you're not just feeding muscle. You're affirming, I'm still in this. I still matter. I still get to choose. That's powerful. And that's how strength is built, from the inside out. One last question for you. What's the one fruit you now see differently? Write it down. Buy it fresh or frozen. Build one tiny ritual around it this week, and then repeat. Because those small choices, they're not snacks. They're votes for your future. So, maybe your muscles aren't what they used to be, but they haven't given up on you. And the truth is, you haven't given up on them either. Because you're here. You're still listening. You're still showing up. Remember, strength doesn't start in the gym. It starts in your choices, in the way you nourish, rest, and move with care. A handful of blueberries, a slow stretch after dinner, a recovery smoothie after your morning walk. Those aren't just habits, they're votes for independence, vitality, and the version of yourself you still believe in. So, here's your invitation. What's one small thing you'll do this week to wake your muscles back up? Write it in the comments. I'd love to know. And if this video spoke to something inside you, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone you love. Because the journey to strength after 60 isn't about going back. It's about moving forward with wisdom, rhythm, and grace. Take care of your body, and it will take care of you. I'll see you in the next one.